Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Sorry the sound is a little weird. I'm ordering a new microphone, so it'll be better here when I get my new microphone. But okay, so this video, it's just something interesting. Gianna, actually, I'll give a shout out to Gianna. She pointed this out to me. This is from that interview they do with Chris when they go back to that Dodge prison and interview him, and they're talking about Trent, and he says something like, oh, the guy I met through a rehab center or something. And Tammy's like, oh, no, that's another guy. So who is this other guy that supposedly he met? So, okay, if you look at it like this, he says, so Chris says, is that the guy I met through some rehab center or something? So for Chris to say, apparently he told me, he was talking about his lawyer, told him, whoever this other guy is, that he met him through a rehab center. So he got it mixed up with Trent, but it was actually not Trent that the lawyer was talking about that he met through a rehab center. It was somebody else, okay? And Tammy says, no, it's another guy. Oh, that's somebody else. So that means that somebody had to go to the police and tell them that they met Chris through a rehab center. Who is this person? And why would this person say they met Chris through a rehab center? I mean, it's just too many coincidences. We got this Hazelbrook rehab that NK's connected to, okay? Well, people made a connection between Trent and NK now with his cousin Tara. I mean, we all have seen that. So who's this other guy that supposedly would have had to have went in or called or however they made contact with the police department to tell them that they met Chris through a rehab center? Who is this person? And why haven't we heard anything about that? I mean, Tammy obviously knows who he's talking about, the guy he met through rehab, because she said, oh no, that's somebody else. So who is this person? Why are we only hearing about Trent and Amanda when there's all these other people, maybe? Or maybe not all these other people, but there's obviously one other person, maybe even more. Why aren't they in the discovery? Why aren't their interviews in the discovery, but Trent and Amanda's interviews in the discovery? So why isn't this other guy that claimed that he met Chris through a rehab center, why isn't he in the discovery? It's just kind of weird that, you know, you hear rehab, there's all this talk about this rehab, that Hazelbrook rehab that NK is connected to. This actually, one of the locations is on the same road as NK's known address, or one of her known listed addresses at one point. And actually the address that's listed under her company, her old company's name, that's Satya, I think it's Satya, that she ended up dissolving. So it's the same address as her mom. I mean, we think that's her mom. That Barbara Kivett is listed under that address, the Andes Way, and it's NK. It's under her previous addresses plus under her business, her previous business. Now this Hazelbrook, one of their addresses, they have two different addresses, and one of them is on Andes Way, the same road. Okay, so that's the Hazelbrook. So that's that Hazelbrook Rehab Center. Okay. So there's a connection between Trent, NK, Rehab Center, and now there's this other guy that actually said he met Chris through this rehab center. We never heard anything about this guy, except Chris just mentions it real quick, and then Tammy says, oh, that's another guy, but it's not in the discovery. Where's these interviews? Obviously they interviewed him if they know about him. Why haven't we seen that? Why haven't we heard anything about who this other guy is? I'm glad Jana pointed that out to me. That is interesting. Like, I don't when I listen to this interview before, of course I've heard it, but like, I don't know, that part, just never gave it a second thought until she brought it up to me, like, hey, listen to this, you know, what's going on here? He's talking about this guy who he supposedly met through this rehab center. Tammy knows who he's talking about. I said, oh no, that's another guy. There's something odd here, you know. And then it makes you wonder, well, why did they single Trent out? Why did they make him more important? I mean, why did they go in there and specifically ask about Trent? If they had other people that claimed the same thing, why do they spend so much time with Trent? You know, they did a short phone interview with him. They called his mom. They did that long I think it was like 3.5 hour interview with him. Why did they waste their time with him if they didn't think that he was important at all? Did they realize that there was some kind of connection? Did they believe that it was possibly true, or did they maybe find a connection between him and NK? You know, for some reason they paid more attention to what he was saying. If they did have, you know, some people coming forward and telling them, you know, they had an affair with Chris, well, why did they specifically single out Trent and Amanda? But they spent more time with Trent, actually. And look who they came in when they asked Chris. They specifically went in there and asked about Trent. You know, they wanted to know about Trent, it seemed like. And if they didn't think that he had any importance in the case, why would they waste their time with him? Obviously, they did feel like he was important because they spent so much time with him, and then they made a point to ask Chris about him and to ask him if there was any truth to what he was saying. And they, you know, they asked him again, are you lying? Are you telling the truth? Would you tell us the truth? So they even interviewed Trent's supposed ex-boyfriend, Damien, which Damien denied he was even gay, but they even went as far as interviewing him and, you know, looking into his record and stuff. And he's even in Discovery. And they called Trent's mom too, which I mentioned earlier. So they took the time to call his mom and basically give her a phone interview. So they must have found his story somewhat believable. But then you could look at it either way. So did they bring up Trent, and is Trent in the Discovery because he is important, and then the other guy from rehab, whoever this other guy is, isn't important, and that's why they just didn't bother asking him about this other guy, and they didn't bother putting it in Discovery or the interview that just you didn't hear about this other guy? Is it because he isn't important, or is it because he is important and they're still looking into him? I mean, you could look at it either way, but obviously Trent was important in some way because they spent a lot of time with him, and, you know, for them to go ask Chris about him. But I'm not sure about the other guy, that guy from rehab, if he wasn't brought up because he's important or not important. So let me know what you guys think. Okay, so I'm going to play you that clip and let me know what you guys think about it.
John, well, she told me about some dude from Wyoming.
Trent?
Yeah, it's that guy. That blew my mind. I was like, who the hell is this guy?
And who told you about that?
Attorney John Walsh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we talk about him?
Yes.
Graham and I interviewed him.
You had to?
Yes.
Wasted our lives.
Yes.
So Trent, in summary, Trent came in and said, met you online on a dating app, had a few, casual but quick sexual encounters with you. And let me be very clear. Not only are we not here to jam you up today, we're also not here to judge you. And if there is anything like that, you can imagine we've heard way worse, way different, So if it's true, I hope that you can just casually say, yeah, I mean, this happened. It wasn't as bad as he said, but maybe this happened. So his story was met online, met you, and it was a time when you were experimenting with maybe men. And so he said he met a couple times, met his friends, went to an apartment, had a couple of meetings in a parking lot, and that was basically it. So maybe that's something that, okay.
No, I've never met the guy.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, he talked about being in your truck with your girls, like the whole 9 yards. So.
Okay.
I've never even been to Wyoming, let alone driven up there to see someone.
Yeah. And so this is maybe a weird question for you. Do you have any gay experience?
No.
Okay. Any interest?
No.
Okay. Never had a time experimented, wondered?
No.
Okay. Is it possible that he found you instead of you finding him?
From what John told me, just found me on like a WhatsApp.
Yeah.
I don't even have that app.
Okay.
I mean, you got my phone, so
Okay.
you could probably saw what app I had. But I've never even heard of the app. But
Okay.
apparently, like he told me, like I met him through like a rehab center or something.
Is that what he said?
No, that was another guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was totally. no idea.
So did you see a picture of him on the news or anything?
John showed me a picture of him.
Okay.
He was like, "Oh, this guy?" I'm like, John was kind of, making fun of like, "You don't know him?" Sure. I'm like, no.
So you saw it and you were like, no way.
Yeah, I was just
Big
like-
lips. Did you see his giant lips?
Yeah,
and...
just like, I have no clue who this guy is.
And he's somewhat memorable.
Yeah.
If you met him or talked to him or got to know him, you might remember. He was kind of meek,
Yeah.
but also a little bit flamboyant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did fake lips, or not fake lips, but injections.
Uh-huh.
He was very into skincare and makeup. And he mentioned that one of the times, just as a gift, you got him some skincare products.
Mm-hmm.
Does any of that sound familiar?
No.
Okay. You can imagine all the stuff we're dealing with. Okay, so that's one.
Mm-hmm.
Trent Bowles. There was another gal that you were dealing with.
Amanda McMahon. Have you ever heard that name? No.
John showed me a picture of her.
Oh, you did see a picture of her too?
Yeah, he had like. Yeah, that's the same.
Troops.
Yeah,
Does that look familiar?
that's the same picture he showed me on the
Okay.
MSO one time. I was looking, I was like, who's that? He's like, oh, you don't know her either?
Yeah.
I was like, no.
Yeah.
He said it was like a Chick-fil-A parking lot rendezvous or something.
Right.
That's just not true.
That's what she's claiming.
Okay.
Only one, but one Chick-fil-A in Colorado. That was the one in Broomfield, Highway 7.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay. Do you feel comfortable enough today to tell us if there were other people?
Yeah, it was just Nicole.
And that was it? Okay. As these people have come out, for the most part, we've not given their stories much credit. They're just crazy people who want attention. And so, but when that does happen, it does make us think, there may have been others. And so Nicole was the only one.
That was the only one.
Was there ever like a one-night stand with someone else just out of the blue and one and done?
No.
Okay. All right.